Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller, and today we are doing a Week 8 recap. Gavin cannot be here today because he is currently in NC State getting ready to play the Wolfpack, so wish him luck. I'm excited. I'll be there. First, we got Vikings at Rams. Rams won 30-20. I've been saying this from day one. I think the Rams are going to win this division. San Francisco's hurt now, and Matthew Stafford had 4 touchdowns in his game, and Puka had 106 in his return. The Rams are a good football team when both of the receivers are healthy. It's as simple as that. Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. Sean McVay, great coach. And when you get those two receivers who have the chemistry they do with Matthew Stafford, you can't do anything about it. Puka with the ball in his hands is probably one of the best in the league. And I still think the Vikings are a good team. Obviously, that face mask call or no call was ludicrous, but it happens. I honestly don't think they were going to drive down there, but they could have. It would have gave them an extra 15 yards, obviously. So bad call, but like I said, I do think the Rams are about to make a run. Next game, we got Eagles at Bengals. My Eagles are back. That's all I got to say on that one. Well, not really all I have to say. Hurts had a 132 rating in this one. He's back to playing great football. Saquon with 108 rushing yards, and A.J. Brown and Smitty both had 80 yards receiving. This offense clicked this game like I haven't seen since the Super Bowl. Now that I'm thinking about it, so a whole year. I was talking to my parents while I was watching this game. I almost got emotional watching this game in the fashion that they won it. Obviously, I just gave you all our star players who all performed. Defensively, our young rookies are balling out. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are balling out. This defense looks extremely capable. So I'm excited. I do think we're NFC contenders at this point with, the Lions look like the best team in football, and I'll get to that when I get to that. But, yeah, the Eagles definitely look like one of the top teams in the NFC, in my opinion. On the Bengals side, this game was 24-17. When we got the ball out of halftime, we scored, and then they got the ball back, something like that. And it was a 4th and 1 that Zach Taylor elected to go for in his own territory, deep in his own territory. And that's one of them calls that, you realize why this football team is where they are. That's a horrible call in that situation. I thought it was disrespectful to Philadelphia and what they've been doing defensively all day. They've been opportunistic with their opportunities to make plays, and even if the Bengals were scoring some points, they were opportunistic. So I think you punt that one and let your defense go out there and make a stop, because you're at least giving us an extra 3 points, and that's what we took. It was 27-17. So Zach Taylor, that's just bad coaching, and organizationally, they just don't have a great roster outside of Jamar Chase. It's kind of like the Cowboys, honestly. It's like Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb. It's kind of like Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. Obviously, they still have T. Higgins, and they're much more well offensively coached, but yeah, the Bengals got to get some stuff together. I still think they're in the hunt. I still think they're honestly a contender. If you told me you thought they had a top 5 chance to win the AFC, then I wouldn't bat an eye. I kind of agree with that, just based off their resume and their quarterback. Next game, we got Ravens at Browns, 24-29. Jameis Winston, 334 yards, 115 passer rating. Jameis Winston is a starting quarterback in this league, regardless of if you like it or not. He is every year he's in the league, he's a top 24 quarterback is what I'm trying to say. He's going to throw his picks. He should have thrown one to Kyle Hamilton, but he's going to make up for it at the end of the day. There's no mental block with this guy. I love him. He's the funniest quarterback in the league, in my opinion. Browns have a great defense. They showed up this Sunday. Props to them for playing. Especially, I think they had a loss in their community. With a media reporter or something like that. So props to them for coming out and performing, and they definitely did that. Derrick Henry had 11 rushes in this game for 73 yards, averaging 6 yards per carry. Why are you not giving him the ball more? That's your identity. This is what happens when you get too cute, Baltimore. And we keep seeing this. If you want to be taken seriously as a contender, you have to approach these games a little bit more professionally. And they've lost to the Raiders and the Browns. No, those are 2 bad losses. Where other teams have some really good losses, those are 2 very bad losses. And, you have the Broncos next, I believe, and that's a team that could sneak up on you if you don't take them seriously as well. So I hope they do better. Zay Flowers had 115 yards receiving, but guess what? That's not the formula for this team, especially with Deontay Johnson coming over, which I do think will help them. So props to the Ravens for making that move. I mean, they're deep in that receiver room. They knew this was the year to go get it, so they're doing that. But yeah, I feel like this was an awful performance. I think Lamar played good, but as far as coaching and the game plan for this one, I think the Browns were just a lot more ready, and that's where they won this game at. Next game we got Titans. Was it? Titans at Lions, 14-52. I thought I was keeping up, and the Titans were keeping up. I was watching Mason Rudolph make some plays in early. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the Lions just exploded. Not a lot to say to this one. Like I said earlier in the video, the Lions look like easily the best team in the NFC. If you picked anyone to beat them in the NFC right now, you would be choosing strictly off of resume or just strictly because you're not watching football. There's not a whole. I think Jared Goff had like 3 touchdowns before he threw. Some ridiculous stat. The Lions are dominant right now offensively. No one can stop them. Tennessee, good loss. You know what you're trying to accomplish right now. You're trying to get a better draft position. Calvin Ridley with a big day, 143 yards on the day. But yeah, I feel like that was a great loss for them. So once again, props to them. Props. I'm not trying to say props, but it kind of is props. Next game we got Cardinals at Dolphins. Cardinals took this one 28-27. Tua in his return. All right. I'm going to say this for the 30th time, and I know people are going to get mad, but it's the Cardinals, guys. The Dolphins were talked about before the season, not by me, but by people as being playoff contenders, maybe reaching a Super Bowl, maybe being more capable than the Bills in that AFC East. Tua isn't a good quarterback. I will keep reminding you of this. He does not have the capabilities to be a great quarterback. He also pissed me off this weekend by not wearing the Guardian cap. It's disrespectful. Once again, we talked about that in the previous video. Why are you not wearing the Guardian cap, brother? Your family loves you. Take care of them first. Wear that Guardian cap. It looks goofy, but pride isn't an emotion that needs to be felt in this exact moment. Also, bro, you play with your chin strap unbuckled too. I don't think people know that. But when you really tune into these games, watch Tua Tagovailoa play football. He has that right chin strap unbuttoned. Makes no sense. I mean, the Dolphins didn't play bad in this one. Arizona isn't a bad football team. But this is where the Dolphins are. That's the type of tier football team they are. A middle-of-the-pack football team. Tua is a guy that's getting paid $50 gazillion and probably isn't a top-half quarterback. People just thinking he's going to elevate this team to limits that it hasn't achieved yet. I mean, Mike McDaniel's offense, just like Kyle Shanahan's, is predicated on personnel, timing, and the run game. You have no flexibility to do anything special as an offense with that system in place. Now, you can be a well-oiling machine, just like the 49ers have been in the past couple years and the Dolphins were last year. But with Tua at quarterback, I don't believe it really changes your trajectory as an offense. I think it makes it better because of his accuracy. But as a quarterback, once again, I don't think he's a great quarterback. In this one, he had a 48.3 QBR, 97 rating. I mean, it's not bad. But, I mean, when you go against the Kylers of the world, who I think Kyler is a better football player than Tua, it gets bad. And Arizona, props to Arizona, they're winning some tough games. They lead the NFC West now. Marvin Harrison had 111 yards in this game. That's big for Arizona. That's something that they need to keep building on for people to start believing in them as a team that maybe could make the playoffs. I do think in that NFC West right now, you're probably going to have to win that division to make the playoffs because the Vikings and the Packers have been so great, and obviously Philly and the Commanders are fighting for that last spot. Obviously fighting for the NFC East, and then that second team gets the wild card. So I do think only one team will get out from that division. And they're leading the NFC West right now, once again, at 4-4. So that's my point. You're not really going to make it as a wild card. So, yeah, good win for Arizona. Next game, we got Jets at Patriots, 22-25. Jets, we're done. We're cooked. I picked you guys to make the playoffs. I picked you guys as my 5 seed. Yeah, it just didn't work out. Aaron Rodgers has not been a great quarterback. I mean, say all you want about the Jets defense. They only allowed 136 yards passing. Now they did allow 111 yards rushing, and Drake May had 46 of them. So, I mean, you got to contain the pocket better than that. But the offense has to do better as well. There's blame to go around. It's really like you try to find certain things that are wrong with this organization, especially in a 5-game losing streak. And what's crazy is I've picked them in every single game of this 5-game losing streak. And I'm going to pick them Thursday, actually, to beat the Texans. Why? Because the Texans don't have their receivers, and I feel like they got to win at some point, right? It might not mean anything when they win, but they got to win at some point. But yeah, the Jets are horrible. Just a horrible football team, horrible organization, horrible coach, horrible line, horrible defense, horrible quarterback. But, you know, I don't know what to look forward to because this is a team that probably will win a couple more games and be in a worse draft position because, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, so you kind of want to win. You want to prove that you can do certain things, and obviously their season isn't mathematically over, but, bro, you just lost to the Patriots. Who are you beating in the last 9 games that are better than the Patriots? I mean, the Patriots are the worst team in football. At least, or if you don't want to say worst team in football, they're the least talented team in football. So, yeah. Jets, that's a bad look. Gerard Mayo told them they were playing soft, and, hey, they fixed it. So, props to them. It's crazy to me. Crazy to me that they're 2-6. It's funny, though. It's funny. Green Bay at Jacksonville, 30-27. I didn't think Jordan Love played great in this one, but I'm still a Jordan Love guy. Malik Willis came in and, I mean, he had a 152 passer rating after how many attempts? 5. So I think Malik Willis is a great backup right now, or maybe he's just great with LaFleur. But they had 170 yards rushing, which is why I think the Packers are also so dangerous. This rushing attack is something serious. Josh Jacobs is a great running back. Jags, I mean, you played close. You usually play close, and you usually lose games. So I wouldn't be excited about playing this one close against a great NFC opponent. The Packers, good job getting this ugly win. It's one ugly win. I'm still a big Packers guy. I think the Packers are a top 3 team in the NFC. So, yeah, that was a good win by Green Bay, and I think Jordan Love will be back. So, you know, he did get hurt. I hope he's not, too banged up, but they'll be fine, especially if Malik Willis is playing on the level of football he is. And now, Colts at Texans, 20-23. Divisional game. I'm not going to overreact on the Houston side. They do have 2 huge injuries to Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins, but Nico will be back. Stephon won't, which breaks my heart. Love Stephon Diggs. He's probably been my favorite receiver over the past 5 years. So it does break my heart. But Anthony Richardson, pal, get ready to go to Guangdong. 10 of 32 passing. 30 QBR. 48 passer rating. I mean, you can't make this up. He was benched this week. The Colts are a team that I actually picked to make the playoffs this year as a 6th seed. Not a lot of people agree with that, but it's not looking too bad. They're a 4-4 football team at this point. If Joe Flacco could come in and throw to these weapons like Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, they will be fine. Jonathan Taylor had 105 yards the other day, 5.3 average. He's out there looking like Adrian Peterson in his prime. Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. He's a great guy to have back there. He's a top 10 running back in the league. Offensive line is not playing too bad. My question is, why are you throwing it 32 times if I mean, what has he showed you? I mean, Josh Allen had a 9 of 37 game, I think, earlier this year against Houston, actually. But it's Josh Allen. He might be able to throw himself out of a slump. Anthony Richardson, bro, after like 20 passes, you got to learn. Like, this guy, he's not the guy. I'm more out on Anthony Richardson than I am Bryce Young because, well, I can't say that, but it's impressive how those 2 quarterbacks in the same draft class are working out right now. I think we got Saints at Chargers, 8-26. Chargers came out with this one. Chargers are well-coached football team. Justin Herbert is playing some of the best football of his career. When we talk about QB wins, Justin Herbert is always that outlier, that person that people rank higher, even though he really hasn't done anything in this league, but for great reason. Justin Herbert is a great quarterback. The wins just haven't matched up as much as other quarterbacks play would. Jim Harbaugh is coming in and making a difference. Ladd McConkey had over 100 yards in this game, so hopefully he can emerge as one of Justin Herbert's targets, because right now he is throwing to mailmen and milkmen, and I don't know. Olave had 107 yards in this one. I think Derek Carr comes back next week. Either way, they're a horrible football team. I've called it from day one. Not to be cocky or anything, but like I said, I called it from day one. Bills at Seahawks, put a spanking on them. Seahawks couldn't get anything going offensively, and James Cook had 111 yards on the ground. When this Bills team runs the football well, they can't be beat. Problem is, I haven't seen them run the football well against really any good teams. So we don't know how good this team is once again. Amari Cooper didn't have a big game in this one. I think Shakir was getting all the targets and stuff. But, yeah, like I said, the Seahawks aren't a good football team. They're going to lose against better teams, and they're going to win against – they're one of those mid teams. And the Bills, once again, we got to see this against better teams. I think they play the Chiefs coming up this year, so we'll watch that one, see how that goes, and won't matter anyway, because when they get to the playoffs – we've seen it. I believe it when I see it, if they could win in the playoffs. Bears at Commanders. Commanders take this one 18-15 after a whatever yard Hail Mary. Obviously the story in this one, Tyreek Stevenson waving goodbye to the crowd. Me and my dad were reacting to this one, and we were just – that was amazing that he even did that. Like, that's something you don't think of that someone could actually do. But he ended up doing that, and honestly – props to him. He's been good. Obviously, he probably just took them out of the playoff hunt because the Bears are not a good football. I mean, what else? Like, people love the Bears. People love the Bears. They're a 4-3 football team. They love the Bears. Why? What has Caleb Williams shown us that he is a great quarterback? And this one, he had a 50 quarterback rating compared to Jaden Daniels' 90, who is so much obviously better, and people still have this conversation about if Caleb Williams is better. Caleb Williams will never be better than Jaden Daniels in this league. We've watched it. We've seen it with our own two eyes. This is a big enough sample size to see Jaden Daniels flip this franchise around after they've been bad for how many years? I don't even know how many years since RG3 was there, and he brought life back to this city. Caleb Williams hasn't yet. Caleb Williams hasn't had the greatest of games. Caleb Williams has had great games, and their 4 wins might be against the worst 4 teams in football. I think they won against Jacksonville, Carolina. Who else they won? I don't Tennessee. Like, this team is not good. This team just is not good. We thought, and I'm not saying that I didn't think they were, because I believed in this team, but coaching wise, they have no offense moving. I mean, Caleb Williams had 100 yards in this game, which if we're talking about Caleb Williams like he's the next coming of Tom Brady, then this guy needs to be passing for 200 yards religiously, especially against a competitor like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels had 300 in this game, by the way, once again, proving why he was the better quarterback. Me and Gav obviously didn't get to a predictions video last week, but me and Gav predicted best quarterback wins this game. The best quarterback is Jaden Daniels. The Commanders are playing at home. Give it to them. And the Commanders had, once again, they played better offensively than the Bears did. Only won by 3 because the Bears defense, props to you guys for standing up in the red zone. But, I mean, we need to see more of Caleb Williams before people keep acting like he is the second coming of Patrick Mahomes. Because right now, Jaden Daniels is that guy. Caleb Williams is not that guy. Caleb Williams, I'll wait to see a game where he plays someone that I consider capable. Next week, let's see who they have. They have the Cardinals. So I feel like that would be his most impressive win. It's in Arizona. But honestly, I don't know if I would take them to win that. I probably will, actually. I'm lying. But yeah, I just don't understand the Caleb Williams hype. But, I guess people. Terry McLaurin had 125 yards in this one. They had 168 yards rushing as well from the Commanders. Offensively, they are special. if they can figure out their red zone issues, they'll be just fine. Cowboys at 49ers. Oh, wait, hold on. I skipped like two. Panthers at Broncos. Bo Nix had a great day. Panthers suck. There's not a lot to say about this game. Except Sean Payton needs to be a Coach of the Year candidate. They'll probably end up 5-5, and then they actually do have a chance to make the playoffs, in my opinion, based on their schedule after they play the Ravens and Chiefs coming up. Obviously got the Chiefs again later in the year. But if they can go on a little run and this defense can perform and hold teams and carry this team to wins, and Bo Nix can play that sort of not losing football, they can definitely make the playoffs. They're not a good football team, but they can definitely make the playoffs. Chiefs at Raiders. Chiefs won a close one in a divisional game. Don't overreact. Chiefs are still the best team in football by a long shot. Trav had 90 in this game with a touchdown. That's important for the Chiefs so they can walk away from this one knowing that they got their guy involved. Minshew with his random breakout game. He had a 117 passer rating in this game. Props to him for coming and performing. Didn't do enough, though. Cowboys at 49ers now, 24-30. Dak prevailed in garbage time. What do we know? Once again, the Cowboys, Dak Prescott. How many times do I have to say it? He's garbage. He is garbage. He is going to throw you a horrible pick when it matters most. That first pick he threw, I just laughed. I mean, I've seen it so many times, and people love hyping this guy up. I think he's a good. I think he. Let me stop. Okay, I think he's a good quarterback. But you paying above market value for a guy like this, who doesn't win you. I mean, I think there's only a couple guys that can single-handedly win you games. I think like the Mahomes, the Lamars, the Burrows, the Allens. I think that might be the only four that can carry you on, like on their back and bring this team up. We saw Matthew Stafford even. Talented guy, talented passer, but he doesn't have the legs and the age and the even the skill to carry a team by himself without Puka or Cooper Kupp. That's just how it is. Some quarterbacks work like that. But Dak is one of those guys, and then he's one of those guys that can manage a game, but he's probably going to throw it away too. He's probably going to throw it away, especially in these big time games. Nothing new. CD with 146 yards. Once again, nothing new. That connection has never been questioned. Purdy had as many yards rushing as the entire Cowboys offense. I love to see the Cowboys fail. Nothing brings more joy to my heart than seeing them fail. It is kind of like this is the first point in my life where I actually kind of feel sorry for Cowboys fans because they know it's like, man, I mean, where do we go? Y'all don't go anywhere. 49ers didn't really impress me in this game either. Purdy has regressed as a passer this year after I was giving him props early in the year. I still think he can be a solid quarterback, but he does have some things to clean up, especially if they want to make the playoffs, because if he doesn't clean that up and he continues this level of play, they're not making the playoffs. That last game, Giants at Steelers, 18-26. The Steelers easily should have beat them by more points. The Giants are horrible with Daniel Jones at the helm. Daniel Jones sucks. It's time to get him out of there. Prime time, he just doesn't show up. He not that guy. He had one fluke season. Congrats to him because he's just one of those guys that has the arm. He has the build for it, but he can't put it together up here. Tyrone Tracy with 145 yards. He's really emerging as a great running back. I think the Giants defense was ran on all night. I mean, it was like 167 yards from Pittsburgh. And Pickens had 4 for 74 with like 2 receptions taken away. So this Pittsburgh offense is definitely coming together more than I've ever seen in my life, or since I've seen from like Big Ben, AB, and Le'Veon Bell. But I don't know, man. The Steelers, I think, can compete for – I think they can be more competitive in the playoffs than people expect. I think they could steal a game 100%. I don't think they're winning this division just based on their remaining schedule. I mean, they're going through the ringer. But yeah, I'm impressed from what I see from the Steelers. Especially, I think this game against the Giants was extremely impressive. Even though they did beat up on 2 New York teams. But thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back in the studio soon. But once again, wish him luck with his basketball season. It is underway. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and peace out.